Seminole Heights Elementary to Hillsborough High School to signify the years it takes to go from kindergarten through high school graduation. And we want our kids to set goals and realize that they can dream big and be whatever they want to be. And our fifth graders got a tour of the high school, so they were so excited to go to the high school and see what's going to be their future.
It just warmed my heart to know that this tradition has been kept alive. I know that my principal at the time, Dr. Ruth Ann Reynolds, bless her heart, she's no longer with us, but she's the one that allowed me to take the reins and do this and to keep this going. And I'm so excited to see that the administration continues to see how important and vital this is.
We have parents.
Hi, I'm Karen Perez, Chair of Hillsborough County School Board. I want to welcome you to Hillsborough County Public Schools, a donde servimos más de 200,000 de tus estudiantes. That includes children in preschool and adults through our workforce program.
Hi, I'm Jessica Vaughn, the school board's vice chair. Our district is the 7th largest in America, and our team is made up of 24,000 people working at close to 250 sites across the county.
Our district is diverse and dedicated. Our board meetings are held in our board auditorium on select Tuesdays at 4 p.m. The best way to serve our students and our community is to involve you, the public, in what we do.
You are welcome to meet or email any of our board members and follow our district on social media. School board meetings are covered live by Hillsborough Schools TV on Spectrum 635 and Frontier Channel 32.
Meetings are also streamed live on our website at hillsboroughschools.org. Closed captioning is provided on all broadcasts, and past meetings are available in our online archive.
We are interested in what the public has to say. We'll include time for audience comments before we address our business items. Our agenda and any supporting materials can be viewed online in advance. They are posted 7 days before each meeting on our website at hillsboroughschools.org.
Our vision is preparing students for life, and that means all students every day. Todos los estudiantes, todos los días. Thank you for your interest in education. With your help, we are making decisions that shape our community's future.
The board meeting of July 9th is called to order. Member Rendon will now lead us in a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
We have no withdrawn items today. I need a motion and a second to adopt the agenda. I have a motion by Member Gray and a second by Member Combs. Any discussion? Seeing none, please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. Please let the record reflect that all board members are present, with the exception of Member Vaughn and Member Washington away from the dais. We have 2 sets of minutes to be approved today: June 18th, school board meeting, and June 25, 2024, school board workshop. I need a motion and a second to approve the minutes. I have a motion by Member Gray and a second by Member Rendon. Any discussion? Seeing none, please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. Board members, I would like to go over the format of today's meeting. As a reminder, we are a nonpartisan board who believe all children can be empowered to learn and succeed, and our discussions will be made with that understanding. To pave the way for efficient and effective agenda statements and/or questions, board members will have 5 minutes to speak, with 30 seconds for final thoughts. Afterward, the superintendent can respond. If you have further questions, you're asked to get back in the queue. Member Rendon will now read the board guidelines.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As we begin this afternoon's meeting, please allow me to quickly review the format of our school board meetings. Please silence all electronic devices. There are speakers in the room behind me that allow board members to hear the meeting upon stepping away from the dais. This meeting can be viewed with closed captioning on live webcast, on cable TV, and on video monitors here in the auditorium. It also can be viewed with closed captioning in the online video archive.
We have one item scheduled for time certain, and that's 6 p.m. employee input. The board welcomes comments from citizens and values your input to the board. In order to provide the most comprehensive response to your comments, our staff will follow up with you and will keep our board informed about the responses. Our school board respects the public's rights to speak to the board, and we appreciate you taking your time to be here. However, it is requested when you address the board, comments are not directed personally against a board member or staff member, but rather directed at the issues. Any behavior intended to interrupt the orderly conduct of this meeting will not be allowed. Our civility policy is in place. When addressing the board, please state your name and speak clearly into the microphone. This afternoon, each speaker will have 3 minutes. Reminder that your 3 minutes start when you begin speaking. When there are 30 seconds left, you will see a yellow light on the lectern. A red light and a chime will indicate when your time is up. I will now call up the first 5 speakers. The public will also have the opportunity to speak on agenda item 704 when the proposed project list for the County Commission investment tax, which is the proposed project list for the county's community investment tax. First speaker, please.
Mark Lutho, Largo. 601. Oh, notice of tax for school capital outlay. Now, that's just going to be one big mistake. Yeah. This is what you get. This graph. And this graph. Because you make stupid buildings. Stupid, dumb buildings. And then we have this headline. Troubling news from the Doomsday Glacier. The big melt is underway. Yeah, scientists have uncovered evidence of vigorous melting at Antarctica's Thwaites Glacier. And then here, altered landscape, climate change reshaping iconic U.S. destinations. And this headline, higher electric rates feared. Oh boy. And then, let's take a step back. Better buildings by design. We shape our buildings, thereafter they shape us. Winston Churchill, Time Magazine, 1960. You just keep ignoring that science of high performance, passive solar building. That would mean better learning environments that would help stop the planet from burning. Buildings that could stand up to Hurricane 5s. Over 30 years I've been bringing the science, and you flagrantly ignore it. And these headlines will continue to be more troubling. What's the heat index every day now? 105, 110. You're wearing coats. It means more cooling for the buildings. How stupid is that? Mega morons for greater America.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good evening, board members. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak today. My name is Raina Akins. I'm currently a rising senior at Robinson High School, and the lack of funding for our support staff and teachers had severely impacted my learning throughout my junior year. In October of 2023, my AP Pre-Calculus teacher unexpectedly left our school. He came to class that Friday and explained to us that he could no longer afford to teach at our school because his car stopped working. Because he lived in Riverview, he would spend over $900 in tolls every single year and could not afford to fix his car. Instead, he had to move to Sumner High School where he could bike to school every day. This led to me having substitutes for months, and when we finally had a teacher, it was her first time teaching a class, so she had a hard time teaching us. This led to me and other students being fearful of what our outcome would be on the AP exam. Furthermore, the constant vacancies in support staff, such as bus drivers, has been very detrimental to my class time. On numerous instances, I have waited over 30 minutes for the bus and missed time from my first period class. In one instance, I waited at the bus stop from 7:30 to 9 because buses were short-staffed, and it took a long time for them to find another bus to get us. Also, due to the number of bus vacancies, in the middle of my school year, 3 stops were added to my already full bus, which led to people having to sit 3 to a seat, crushed against each other, and people having their feet in the walkway, leading to people tripping and other safety hazards. So I implore you to consider increasing the funding for our teachers and support to staff so that students can have a better learning environment. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hello, school board. Thanks so much for having me. My name is Anika, and I'm an incoming sophomore at Robinson High School, and I'm here today to talk about improving support for our teachers. To care for your students, you must care for your teachers. I know that one of the biggest reasons this board exists is to help its students succeed. And what better way to do that than to empower and support our teachers? At the start of freshman year, math was not my strong suit. But I had a wonderful math teacher. She spent her own time after school helping students, and she truly wanted us to succeed. But as the year was ending, she and her family encountered financial difficulties that put her medically vulnerable daughter at risk of losing care. This was a teacher who always worked so hard to create a good environment for her students and helped me personally inside and beyond the classroom. There's been so many teachers in my life who supported me so much, and I'm here to ask you for your help in supporting them as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good afternoon, board members. My name is Tina Williams-Brewster. I'm coming again before you today to speak about exceptional student and the lack of resources. I was very happy to hear the ESC and be a part of, just listen to the ESC workshop. You all did a wonderful thing, but there's some questions that I still have for the board. Another year is coming up. We still continue to have large gaps. How are we going to fill the gaps? What plans are we going to have? Because while it looks good on paper, is the implementation really going to be there? We still have schools that are still looking to fill key positions directly affecting our exceptional students. What measures are we taking? We heard a lot about training, but I would like to know, what training are the teachers actually getting that will help them while they're actually in the classrooms, in the trenches? Another thing that I heard, and I'm still wondering about, all these resources. Exactly where are they? What do they look like? And how is the district going to let parents know? We've heard all of this talk about parental involvement, parental engagements. I'm still waiting for my invitation to SAC from Gaither High School. I've been there 2 years. We have parents and students who really would like to give more, but we're not able to. We're still waiting for us to really be engaged, not just, hey, have our money, have our kids, fine, thank you, we never see you again. All kids deserve great teachers, great support systems, but frankly, Hillsborough County School District, we have gaps to fill. How are we going to do it? We need to put our heads together, students, parents, and school staff, to put all of our heads together to find out how are we going to fill these gaps. Transition seems to be a key missing ingredient. When students are matriculating, especially students with special needs, where is the team together to make sure no balls are dropped? Some of these problems that we get to the school board, they can really be fixed with open-mindedness and just a clear solution of identifying the problem and providing a solution. Number two, there are too many steps to get an issue resolved. I should not have to talk to 6 different departments to get a problem solved. You all talk about the training, you all talk about students being first. They don't see it. You're only as strong as your weakest student. Hillsborough County, we've got to do better. If you want more money, show me, a concerned parent, why you should get it.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Alan Brewster, good evening. My wife and I, we moved here to Florida in 2015 with 6 children, and we've been through a lot of schools. And I always talk about leadership and the leader's responsibility. And in order for a school to be great, they have to have great leadership and great mind for responsibility in identifying problems, gaps, any type of issues, and have a concrete plan to address those issues. Like my wife said, there are gaps. For instance, when school starts up the next year, where the ESC student needs services, the first thing we hear is, we're still hiring staff, or we're still waiting on funding from the district. That's a gap. And it's up to the leadership to close that gap. They say this every year. Every school that we've been to, that when it's time for the student to get the services, that's the answer we was given why the services didn't start from day one. I don't hear the leadership talking about how to close these gaps. During the summer, there are students who need counseling. That's a gap, right? Students who need to improve their reading. That's a gap. There are a lot of gaps that need to be filled. If you got potholes in the road, what the city do, the county does, they fill them. The gaps needs to be filled, and the leadership needs to address those gaps. Talk to the parents, engage the parents, talk to the students. Communication is a pivotal key to making things work the way they need to work, having a plan work the way the plan needs to work. It's the leadership. The leadership has to rise up above what they do on a normal basis. It can't be the same status quo. It can't be. You have to rise up and be innovative. Be innovative. There are parents out here who are willing to work with the schools, but they don't let them. Thank you.
Thank you. I see no other speakers. I need a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. I have a motion by Member Hahn and a second by Member Rendon. Please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously, and the consent agenda has been approved. I will now call on Superintendent Ayers to highlight our administrative appointments.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Board members, we had one principal appointment on the consent agenda this afternoon, and it is my honor, if we could get a picture up there. Not me. It's my pleasure to announce Taryn Anello is the new principal of Wharton High School. And Taryn, if you could please stand. And if you could make your way on up while I read your bio. So Taryn began her career in Hillsborough County in 2001 as an English teacher at King and later at Freedom High School. She transitioned into reading and academic coaching in 2007. And in 2013, she was appointed the AP at Gaither High. And in 2015, she was appointed assistant principal for curriculum at Wharton High, where she currently serves. Ladies and gentlemen, Taryn Anello, the new principal of Wharton High School. And any family and friends, if you are here, if you want to stand as well to be recognized, family and friends. Thank you, Taryn. And I do also want to acknowledge Mike Rowan, the principal. He served 6 years as principal of Wharton. Mike is our new general director of student engagement. So I just want to recognize Mike Rowan, his 6 years of service to Wharton. Thank you, Mike. Congratulations, Taryn.
Congratulations. We will now pause a moment for you and your family. And friends, if you'd like to exit the boardroom auditorium. The following items will now be heard. C-102, C-103, C-104, C-301, C-402, C-502, C-601, C-602, C-702, C-703, and C-704. Item C-102, Hillsborough County Public Schools agreement with Amplify Education, Incorporated. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you once again, Madam Chair. Board members, DIBBLES is a student assessment that measures the science of reading aligned skills taught through the University of Florida Literacy Institute Phonics Program, which is as UFLY. Through the administration of the DIBBLES assessment, vulnerable readers are identified early for reading risk using a screen to intervene approach. During the fall of 23-24 school year, 90% of K-2 teachers utilize this progress monitoring tool with their students, and 93% in the spring. DIBBLES offers the added benefit of having a dyslexia screener that will be available with our implementation for the 24-25 school year. And Madam Chair, that is item 102. And if you have any additional questions, Tracy Bergman is here as well, who's our Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction as well, if you have any additional questions on 102. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Superintendent Ayers. I need a motion and a second to approve item C-102. I have a motion by Member Gray and a second by Member Rendon. Member Gray, you pulled this item. Do you have any questions or comments?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm glad that we have this item, and also wanted to share that since we have a growing Hispanic population, the assessment going out to pinpoint the reading challenges of our ELL population and our general Hispanic population is very real. I also wanted just to highlight the fact that a lot of the teachers, I wish I could say a lot, but only about 15% of the teachers are hitting or Hispanic, yet we have almost 43% of our students are Hispanic. So then if you flip it over to the other side, the white teachers or white female males, 67% are serving with the population of about 17-18%. So if we look at the disproportionality, we have to say, thank you, Ms. Bergman, for this assessment. We have to say we need to service our Hispanic population, and hopefully this assessment has the fidelity to share and pinpoint what's going on and what we can do. I have a question. When we look at the ELL population and when we look at the dual language population, can you share briefly how this assessment will help filter
the Hispanic needs in terms of their language acquisition?
Sure. This purchase also includes licenses for the Dibbles Lectura program, which is basically the Spanish version of the Dibbles program, but it assesses the Spanish ability for the phonics and foundational skills areas. And so with that, we're able to assess both in English to determine, for our dual language students, to determine how well they're accessing their English program using the UFly piece, but we also do the Spanish literacy side of the dual language program. And this side of the assessment helps assess where our students are in terms of their Spanish literacy and where are there gaps on one side versus the other gaps on both sides, because not all of our students come to the table with the same level of literacy from their home country within their home languages, and so it's important for us to be able to address that, and that's what Dibbles does. So we know how to intervene in both Spanish and their native language and capitalize from an asset-based approach, as well as looking at it from an intervention approach for students that are behind.
Yes, and the growing population of Haitian coming in, a lot of those students they're very bright. And earlier on when we started the Hispanic Forum, we were reminded that we have not had filtering systems in place to share which students are gifted and which were not. They slip through the cracks. So I'm very optimistic that this tool will help garner the missing, the pieces that are missing, so instruction for our Hispanic community can be had. So I thank you, Ms. Bergman.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Combs?
Thank you, Member Gray, for pulling this. I wasn't going to say anything, but I do really appreciate, Ms. Fawcett and Tracy Bergman and your whole team for pulling this, because I think the most important thing is really identifying these kids early on and making sure to be able to see if they're dyslexic, or using Dibbles is so important. I mean, it's amazing that we haven't been using it, and I think that it just shows that I think that we're going to see in a few years, we're going to see our students continue to improve and the scores improve because we're able to identify students early instead of students sitting there for, a couple years and still thinking that it's a processing issue when it could be something really a completely different issue. So I think it's great that we're assessing students, although I always want to decrease assessment. I think assessment like this is very important because it's also supporting our ESC students and supporting our teachers. So I think that with the training, I really appreciate it, and I think this is a great item. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Combs. I have a grandson who has dyslexia, and before we caught him, and realized what the problem was, he was so frustrated and didn't want to read. But at Hillsborough County Schools, at his school, luckily the staff realized what was happening with him, and the moment they caught it, my grandson has captured a love for reading. And with this assessment, we could put that love for reading in so many more students. And I think more than anything, this is what I saw this assessment through that lens, is helping the students be more confident and, have that love for reading going forward. So thank you for bringing this item to us. And if there's no further comment.
Ms. Perez, if I could just, based on what you said, I just want to take a moment and thank Colleen, Tracy, their entire team. So it's important to recognize with this Dibbles, this measures the skills through the science of reading. We've had one year full implementation with UFly. As we mentioned earlier, we saw that 5% jump in proficiency for grade 3 in just 1 year. So as we look after our second graders have had 1 year utilizing UFly, I can't wait to see the results in the future. So just in 1 year, I want to thank Colleen, Tracy, your entire teams. We've seen tremendous results. With UFly, this is one of the best things we've done as a school district, and we're seeing the results right away, and I can't wait to see the results in years to come. Yeah.
Seeing no further comments, please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. The next item is 103, Hillsborough Public Schools Agreement, purchase of online subscription service of a game-based learning platform for grades K through 8 from Legends of Learning Incorporated. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So Legends of Learning is an online game-based learning platform that provides teachers and students with over 2,000 math and science games aligned to Florida standards and national standards. During the 23-24 school year, 1,962 teachers utilized this learning platform with over 374,000 hours of student engagement. At the conclusion of 22-23 school year, an evaluation was completed by the district's Assessment and Accountability Research and Evaluation team. This report showed that our schools with the highest usage science score proficiency rose an average of 2.84 points. Our research and evaluation team for this year is currently evaluating the school and student data for this 23-24 school year to continue to ensure positive student outcomes. So, Madam Chair, that is item 103. And we do have Sarah Garcia, who's our new Executive Director for Elementary Education, along with Shauna Tirado, our Supervisor for Elementary Science, if you have any specific questions around Legends of Learning. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Superintendent. I need a motion and a second to approve item C-103. I have a motion by Member Rendon and a second by Member Gray. Member Gray and Member Rendon, you pulled this item. Member Gray?
Thank you, Madam Chair. At first at $346,000, I had to take a look at this, and especially when it had the word games. But the fidelity of this particular resource is so stellar, and Superintendent Van Ayers, you spelled it out. 2,000 teachers use it, 16,000 students are involved, and then we added, I think, 630 teachers this year. So, you know, the idea that it's a big reward as well, and teaching at the same time. Also, the idea that the family can get engaged with celebratory activities when they have certain occasions like Thanksgiving. You know, it's just checks all the boxes. And last and most importantly, there's no cell phones that are used, thank God, because we're trying to not engage anymore with cell phone teaching. I was very careful on that one. But yes, improved test scores. And really, we're really batting a lot of successes with the investment, Bergman and wonderful team, Ms. Fawcett, and all the rest of you. The investment of this science of reading, and collectively, your great expertise is really moving up these scores. And, you know, hope runs eternal. We have the first question that gets asked to us board members is, what are we going to have more DNF schools, or are we going to have less DNF schools? So the pressure, there's a lot of pressure going on. So all this is to say, another win, and so wonderful the teachers are using this with such, you know, with great, a great amount of teachers, for lack of better words. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Rendon?
Thank you, Madam Chair. You know, I really just wanted to bring to light the fact that this is not going to be the primary focus of learning. That is still up to our teachers. But this is going to be a tool that our teachers have at their disposal. So when they are in small groups and working directly with a small group of students, that this could be a secondary way for students to continue to have part of our lesson plans and part of things to be able to work on within the classroom. I'm also appreciative to our IT department that allows us to make sure that we have laptops available to all of our students. I do believe that they can access it through their cell phones and are able to do that as well through after-school activities, when they're at home, when they're accessing. But I appreciate the fact that our district has made available laptop carts or laptops within classrooms when this is going to be used. So I do appreciate that very much, because we do want to make sure that the emphasis is on the classroom and on the teacher. And so this does that. So thank you for taking the time to make sure we understand that, and make sure that the public understands that this is not a curriculum for the exact, the primary way of learning. That will be up to our teachers and our direct implementation, but this is to make sure students have engaged activities that are at their level, that they're learning and they're excited about. So thank you so much for this.
Thank you, Member Rendon. Seeing no other comments or questions, please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. The next item is item 104, Hillsborough County Public Schools Agreement with Lexia Voyager Sporces Incorporated. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And this is Language Live, which is a reading intervention program for secondary students who have been identified as having a substantial reading deficiency. This Language Live program provides students with a personalized and private learning path that addresses foundational reading skills in an age-appropriate manner for adolescent learners. Language Live's text training component will serve as the bridge between foundational and grade level benchmarks for excellent student thinking, which is our best standards and the ELA standards. So that is item 104, and once again, Ms. Tracy Bergman is here as well if you have any questions regarding Language Live, which is the 6 to 12 program. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Ayers. I need a motion and second to approve item C-104. I have a motion by Member Rendon and a second by Member Hahn. Member Combs and Member Rendon, you pulled this item. Member Combs?
Okay, thank you very much, Chair Perez. So I think, Ms. Bergman, we spoke a little bit about this. One of the things that I was really looking at was the cost increase, and we talked about that. I mean, I think one of the great things is that we're really looking at middle school and really looking at that. I appreciate the approach of really making sure that those reading skills are still in place and that we're really making sure that we're reteaching and teaching and working on skills at the middle school level. I know it's hard to imagine, but that we do have some students, a lot of students who still struggle with even phonics and fluency at that age, and I'm glad to see an approach in the intensive reading. Ms. Bergman, if you will just go over a little bit about, I think, the approach and why those consumables and the feedback that you received from the teachers and why that was very important to use.
Sure. So we have currently been implementing Language Live for the past 2 years. Next year will be our third year of implementation in the intensive reading programs. Currently, initially for year one, we had begun by using more of grade level materials along with the foundational skills portion, the online portion for Language Live. And what we found is that left us some gaps, especially with our middle schoolers. The purpose of the intensive reading class is to accelerate the performance of the students by closing the gaps that they have in reading. A lot left over from elementary school and, you know, kind of maybe that lack of strong foundational skills instruction that they received. So this year we began by implementing the text training in middle school, but we didn't have the materials. We had PDFs of them, we had different pieces of it, but we didn't actually purchase it. While our teachers appreciated the opportunity to utilize the materials and have authentic text and have that more of a firm scope and sequence and scaffolded piece for the comprehension side of the instruction, when we sought out their input, they said that they would, 95% of them said they would be more than happy to utilize the books, would prefer to have books in kids' hands. That way they can mark up the text, they could study the text, they could pull out the whole text and pieces and parts of it and do different things. So that is what this purchase is, hence the increase of cost. I did go back. I think you had asked me how much was each book, and it is $60 to $7 per book per student. But it's an investment that's worth it for our students. When we're just using the online component, we're only addressing the foundational skills, not the comprehension piece. This way we're addressing both sides. When we're looking at middle school learners, we've got to address both sides of the rope in terms of science of reading. We've got to address comprehension and word reading, and that's what this will allow us to do in a way that's tangible for teachers, in a way that gives them the actual scope and sequence, the lesson planning, and most importantly, gives kids the access that they need to the materials.
Thank you. And I think you said that through your survey, did you say like 95% of the teachers thought they should it would be useful for them. And as I said, thank you again, because we really need to make sure we want to get the students to the end of graduation rates. We don't need to wait until 10th grade to identify, and we want to make sure they have those skills in order to be successful in high school. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Member Combs. Let the record reflect that Member Washington has joined us here at the dais. Member Rendon.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And thank you, Ms. Bergen, for that complete explanation. It was something that I want to make sure that we take time to make sure we understand that this cost is such a cost because we're actually purchasing the live materials, the hands-on materials, which I personally love. I like a hand-on book, although my children are like getting a little obsessive about the bookshelves in our house. But I think it's really important that we give the students as much opportunity as possible with the curriculum, and being the third year and we're paying such attention to the stats as they go. That was one of the questions I had, how close are we? So thank you for being both Ms. Fawcett and Ms. Bergen on the stats and what we're doing. And so we're just not implementing a program, but we're paying attention to the success of that program and making sure we're making significant benchmarks. And so I think this is the last piece of the puzzle to make sure we've done everything we can with this particular curriculum moving forward. So thank you so much for explaining that. That's what some of the biggest expenses is, the actual purchase of the books. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Rendon. Member Hahn?
Thank you, Member Perez. This resonated with me. I know I'm the early childhood literacy person, but an advocate, but I did a year in middle school special ed teaching children with reading difficulties and dyslexia. And, Member Combs has a lot of experience and more expertise in middle school, and so I appreciate her comments, but I know firsthand that in that middle school space, there's not really a lot of programs and materials, at least there weren't when I was teaching in middle school for reading recovery. And we had to piece it together, and kind of find our way. And there were not a lot of age-appropriate books interest-wise, but on their reading level. And so that was even hard to, curate, like a library of books that they would even be interested in that's on their reading level. And so I think this is an investment, money well spent. I think this is where we should be putting our dollars in resources that are going to directly impact students, especially around their academics and literacy. And the fact that 85%, was it 85% or 95%? I can't read my writing. Support this program, and want more of it. So I think it's some of the best money well spent. Thank you. Oops.
See no further comments or questions. Please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. The next item is item 301, Legal Services Agreement with Fisher and Phillips, LLP for Exceptional Student Education. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you once again, Madam Chair. So this is our legal services agreement with Fisher and Phillips. I just wanted to summarize a little bit. We currently serve 35,599 students with IEPs. Approval of this contract will cover counsel, consultation, and advice for the superintendent's staff on legal matters involving ESC services. So there's two parts to this. The first part, there'll be a flat fee that covers daily advice on non-litigation matters, which includes reviewing and responding to or preparing correspondence on non-litigation matters, attending IEP meetings, and time spent on research on non-litigation matters. Then there's an hourly rate, which is for litigation services. These services include day-to-day advice on litigation matters, which includes cases that the board or district has reasonable belief will result in litigation, attendance at all meetings involving litigation matters, including but not limited to attendance at IEP meeting reviews, reviewing, responding to, or preparing correspondence on litigation matters, interviewing witnesses, and speaking with district personnel arising in the context of or otherwise related to litigation matters, and time spent performing legal research on these litigation matters. In your agenda item, you'll see the rate increases that are listed within the agenda item for the partner rate, junior associate, and paralegal, and that is in the agenda item. So just in summary as well, for the 22-23 school year, there were 19 requests for due process hearings were filed, and of those 19, only 2 went to a hearing, and we prevailed. 17 of the 19 were resolved at the local level. And then for this past school year, 23-24, there were 25 requests for due process hearings that were filed, and of the 25, only 2 went to hearing. We prevailed on 1, and we're still waiting for the other final order. So 23 of the 25 were resolved at the local level, and all of these cases were subject to those hourly rates. So that is a summary of 301, which is a legal services agreement with Fisher and Phillips. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Superintendent Ayers. I need a motion and a second to approve item C-301. I have a motion by Member Washington and a second by Member Rendon. Member Gray, Member Hahn, Member Combs, and Member Rendon pull this item. If you could get in the queue, Member Gray, Member Hahn, Member Combs, and Member Rendon, please. Member Gray?
Okay. I want to thank Ms. Lesperance It's a lovely name, and you did a wonderful job at the workshop, and we appreciate it. The ESC is a very complex, and of course you proved it with not only the workshop but the booklet and all the other attachments that came within that workshop conversation. And one of the bigger picture needs to be shared. The ESC, and yes, Superintendent Van Air is very successful with the court cases, only 25 requests for due process, and only 2 went out to a hearing. And again, in the face of so many complicated 504 plans, IEPs, etc. So one question I have, Ms. Lesperance, do we have an uptick of the ESC cases to justify an increase from the hourly rate from $310 to $340, partnerships, partner $275 to $295, paralegal $110 to $150. What's the reason? Was it just more cases, or what's going on?
So yes, we did have a few more cases for due process. There were 19 last school year and 25 this year. And I do just want to point out that the majority of those due process filings were from one particular advocate. So we have an advocate that there's many ways to resolve issues, but they choose to use the due process hearing as the way to resolve, which is the parents' rights, right? That's part of their procedural safeguards. Within all those advocate requests for due process hearings, we have never gone to a hearing with that advocate. We have solved all prior to going to hearings, but that is one of the reasons there's an increase in due process filings. You could also resolve some of these things through mediation or state complaints, or just at the local level, which is the way we prefer, and most parents prefer to solve those. But parents do have procedural safeguards to use the due process as a way to solve their issues.
Well, thank you very much for handling this. And this is, how many months have you been the captain of the ship now?
Since November.
Yeah, you've done a wonderful job. Very, very, very complex subject, but you have met the demands. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Member Hahn? Member Combs? Member Rendon?
Thank you so much. You know, at the end of the day, ESC is such a complicated thing with state laws, federal laws, and so many other things that come together with our 504s, our IEPs and things. And it's some of our most unique individuals that we serve here in the district, as well as some of our most vulnerable. And so I think there's also a great need for staff when it comes to that, and that contributes to a lot of this. But one of the questions that I have is, based upon some of the, what I have not seen is, based upon some of the requests for hearing or requests for due process, any changes in procedures that we've made to avoid going forward, because over the last 2 years we've had an increase in the request. And so I just want to see where we were at with, have these attorneys been advising us on our due process, or not only our due process but our current procedures, so that we avoid this moving forward? Because I know that they're very good at litigation. I can completely understand that. And I do understand that the cost is going up, not necessarily because of our litigation, but because cost of services is going up. And they're going up across the country for legal services. So that's the reason. But how can we avoid, is where I'm looking at it, some of the need for legal services instead of the need for more. And so I haven't seen anything within the scope of their service where they have been advising us on how we can change some of our procedures to be able to avoid some legal aspects.
Yes, so they do advise us on our procedures, so especially if we have any kind of procedural violations. But like we put together workshops and trainings based on the input from our legal counsel around any improvements that we could make when it comes to any procedural violations or any other procedures that we could do better. So every time we consult with her on any case, not even a case that has gone to due process, but just any case where there might be a resolution that needs to happen to determine what our training and next steps should be. And a lot of our trainings that we provide to schools and our district staff come from her guiding us through some of those steps. So like, for instance, during the workshop in your notebook, there was a whole training on FAPE. That workshop came out of some feedback from her on a case that we had. So she not only helps us guide our moving forward so these things don't happen again, but also she is also open and willing to do training for our staff and our principals and our district staff. So we've been collaborating on some possible trainings coming up for our administrators and for our school staff to help us to stay out of litigation. That's always the goal, right? We want to work with our families and be a partner with them to try to solve some of their concerns.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Member Rendon. Member Gray?
I was supposed to go.
Member Combs?
Okay, thank you very much. First and foremost, I want to thank you, Ms. Lesperance, for your leadership and everything that you're doing. I said your right names. Lesperance, is that? Okay, great. Okay. I think, ESC, as we had the workshop last week, is a very complex, very complex in a lot of reasons, complex as far as the needs of the students are so high. Also, the federal laws, the state laws, the local laws, the endangerment of students, what can happen. And I think it's really important, that day-to-day relationship with the parents and dealing with that. So often we don't have to go into the next phase where we are going into court or we're deciding that in the day-to-day. Now, I know that we have great, we have what was it called? Our attorney is doing a great job. I realize that. But for me as a board member, I have to look at how do I, as a board member, one of the biggest things is obviously my fiscal responsibility, but how do I make this organization stronger and better? So that's why I'm here. That's why I was elected. That's why I'm running for office. How do I strengthen that? And so when I look at from 2023 to 2024, there was a 43% increase. When I look from 2 years ago to now, that is a 67% increase. So you're looking at paying $650,000. If you do research and you look at the top 50 districts in our country, you will find all of them have an ESE specialist in-house. So when there's an issue, let's say at Crestwood, I can call the district office and say, this is an issue, let's resolve it early. Miami-Dade, they have in-house attorneys. You can look on their website, which is the largest district. They have an in-house attorney, they have a paralegal, and they have an assistant for $500,000. Here we are looking at an increase of 67%, $650,000 for somebody who I know does a great job, but we don't have access to in-house. And I know as a leader, one of the things that you're working on is getting parents to advocate for themselves, getting parents to resolve issues, working stronger for our ESE population. If we don't have anybody in-house who can deal with those issues and we have to call for an emergency, or if there's a parent that has just a small issue, a small question, but I have to find someone, I don't see how the 7th largest district in America and serves for almost 40,000 students who are ESE, how we don't have in-house counsel. And if my fellow board members don't see that as an issue, then I'm just going to keep advocating for what's best for families and parents and what's best for the district. A 67% increase to me is, I cannot support that. And I will definitely be, unfortunately, voting against this tonight.
I could just, Member Combs, thank you for bringing that up, but I just want to, on this agenda item, the $650,000, that is an up to amount. With the 23-24 spend of $450, that is what the spend was for last school year, and $388 was the year before. So we're not expecting to spend up to $650. That is just an up to amount to not exceed the $650, but we did spend, the $454 was this past year. So the $650, just for clarity, is just, that's an up to amount. However, spent $450 this past calendar year. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I mean, every percentage I have, the smallest increase I have is that 1 year, and that's 17%. I mean, you're looking at, okay, maximum is 67%, okay? But you're still at 454. Last year, if you spent a little bit more, you would have 3 in-house people in our district office that I could call at any time. And if a parent, like at IEP meetings, maybe it would be nice to have an attorney there present that we don't have to pay for. I can guarantee you we could find enough work with 255 schools to take care of those 3 individuals. So as I said, for me, it's just making this organization stronger, better, more effective, more efficient, so that way we can service students more and we can help parents more. And I think our ESE staff would love to have more support as well. I just want to know, on your perspective, I mean, from your perspective, what do you think and how would that change our district if we did have in-house staff or in-house?
I mean, that's something we could, do more research on. I also looked at Miami-Dade. I haven't had an opportunity to look at other districts or talk to other, people in my position about this, but it's something I could look into.
And do you think you'd be able to utilize those attorneys to go to IEP meetings, at other events, answer day-to-day questions?
So our current attorney does those things as well, but yes, either one would be able to do those things.
Yeah. And as I said, I know for a fact I've heard nothing but great things about the attorney. I'm just looking at cost and how we can be more effective. I mean, maybe it's the opportunity that she'd want to be in-house. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Combs. Member Hahn?
Thank you, Member Perez. So this is a conversation that seems to be coming up at workshops and board meetings a lot, and it's always built around being fiscally responsible, which certainly if you want to be a good steward of money, if you want a stronger school district, a more efficient school district, fiscal health is top priority. But when you look at our budget, and you need to look at our budget before you start making a decision or advising staff on things to do, we currently spend 85% of our budget on salaries in this district. Best practice says that we should be at 82%. Of that 85% that we currently spend, we spend 15% on positions outside the schoolhouse. Best practices says we should be around 12%. So I would imagine that, especially during right now when the majority of this board wants us to go out for a referendum and ask people to spend their tax dollars, more of their tax money on schools, that we need to do better and be more fiscally responsible by aligning our budget on this budget line of salaries before we add to more salaries. And whether you have an in-house attorney or not, you're still going to have to pay for attorneys for litigation. As we heard from staff, some parents, you can work very hard to have strong relationships, but unfortunately they choose to go toward litigation. And to have an attorney at an IEP meeting, and Ms. Rendon could probably speak to this more than me, but I was an ESE teacher, worked with ESE specialists who would typically come to those meetings. It can be very intimidating to have an attorney at those meetings for parents. Also, right now we have, the most DNF schools. We have some of the worst reading scores in the state of Florida. And if we have $1 extra to spend, I'm not spending it on an attorney, a paraprofessional, and a secretary. Every extra dollar should go toward resources that directly impact students across the board. Our ESE department, you just heard her speak about how the attorney can provide training. They can provide any assistance needed. And yeah, it's gone up by, 60 somewhat percent. My groceries have gone up. 62%. My TICO bill has gone up 71%. Everything has increased, unfortunately, in this country over the last 3 or 4 years. And we're seeing it right here at the district. But, to say, that spending a little more money allows us to be stronger and more efficient, that might be an opinion, but when you look at the budget and look what we're spending on salaries, we need to get that in alignment, especially if we want to pay teachers more money and not just a bonus. We need to get these finances in alignment. That is fiscal responsibility. That is what is best for the district. I'm not going to really entertain adding more employees to this district until we get our budget better in line with what best practices state around school board budgets. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Hahn. Member Gray?
Yes, this is an interesting discussion. I think if we did the math and added the amount of money that we would have to pay for many of these lawsuits, like we had 2 years ago, it was $1 million lawsuit. And Shannon, just forgive me, I'm kind of doing a little bit of a tangent. Lawsuits cost a lot of money, and that, that in itself, if we compare that expense with having more of a mature, robust House attorney backup, you would probably find less matters and bill. We have over 60 bills from the House legislative folks. There's so many opportunities for litigation that I just wonder if we did a cost analysis. Preventative is what we want, right? We want that, we don't want it to go to court. But anyway, getting back to this bigger discussion, I think we need to have a workshop on this subject, because right now we have over 9 attorneys, and I call them a la carte attorneys, doing one thing, doing another thing, da-da-da-da-da. And then if we compare it to, say, Orange County, they have 10 House attorneys. And then you compare it to Pasco, they have 3 House attorneys, much smaller than us. So there is a lot of reckoning, a lot of great discussion we can have as to, do we save money with the preventative, having a House attorney in-house, versus are we having more money outwards for litigation, possible litigation over and over? Because, Member Hahn, you're right, we have to watch every penny. So that to me is a very viable discussion, and I will put it forth in terms of a workshop. I think this is a dynamic that's worth investigating a little bit more, certainly with the money. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Combs?
Yes, thank you, Chair Perez. And I was going to say, I agree with you, Member Hahn. We can't waste money. So subcontracting for $650,000 and a 67% increase possibly, that's a waste of money. If you look at the top 10 districts in the state of Florida, every single one of them have an exceptional student educator, paralegal, they have attorney in-house. If you look at the top 50 districts in the United States of America, you will see every single one of them have an exceptional student educator attorney in-house. So every penny does count. $150,000 does count. That's a lot of paralegals that could support ESE. And as far as wordsmithing my words about an IEP, I was saying if it's a high IEP meeting where you know there's going to be issues, you would put an attorney in there. As far as training, when I have somebody who's 40 hours a week, they can train people all the time. I don't have to pay extra money for training. So when you're talking about $150,000 savings, yes, that's a lot. And that's just these last 2 years that it's gone up 67%. How can you say we're being efficient with money when we are paying almost a third more than districts that have 3 employees full time to resolve issues? Every day I go out to my schools often, and there's ESE issues all the time that need to be resolved. And we're a district that doesn't have an ESE staff to understand the law and all the different federal laws and all the state laws that are coming in here and all the parents who are trying to advocate for ESE students. And we don't have an in-house attorney because we're trying to void from having an extra employee. I'd rather subcontract an employee that I could get 3 employees from. Makes no sense. So that's okay. because I'm going to continue to do what's best what we can do for this district and continue to advocate for parents and our community to know, hey, we're the 7th largest district in the country, and we're the only one that doesn't have an in-house attorney for ESE. So let's continue to see how that works for us, and let's see what this contract is next year and how much you're going to bring me back. So it looks like 67% this year. Let's see what percentage will be the following year. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Combs. Member Hahn?
Thank you, Member Perez. Well, first of all, paralegals, you could have a team of paralegals, they can't litigate, so you'd still have to have this contract. And you just said in your last comments that I would have to spend a little bit more than the increase in this contract to get an inside legal team, And what other districts are doing, I don't know what their budget allows them to do. I only know what our budget. They probably have lots of things we don't have in other districts, maybe because we can't afford them. And I'm telling you, if you look at our budget and what we are spending on employee wages, salaries, and benefits, we are not in line with best practices. If you want to bring on a team of attorneys, then I would task the superintendent with drilling down into your workforce and finding a way to align our budget with best practices. That's when you have a conversation about adding something like this. But you just don't, you can't add more people without being in line with your budget in line with best practices. And that's where I stand. Whether it's going to happen down the road or not, or we're going to have a conversation around this, you can't have a conversation outside of looking at what we're already spending on salaries. And, if we have to quickly cut costs, it's easier to cancel these contracts and recoup our money than fire employees. It's very, very difficult. And I don't mean paperwork difficult. It's emotionally difficult to have to fire people. And so, I would say if we want to continue this discussion, to be mindful of, our budget. And, we can't always be reactive to what other districts are doing. I think districts, we look at them for examples of what we can do and what's working for them. But it may not mean the timing is good for us as a district. And I think that there are some, fiscal cleanup we need to do before we start adding on permanent staff, because it's permanent, Right now, these contracts give us an awful lot of flexibility and a little more control of our budget when we need to be, we need the most flexibility as possible. We need to make quick decisions. So I would just say as this conversation moves forward that, we all want to do best for this district. And there's lots of ways to solve problems that can be successful. And we may not agree on those ways. But I do think that, you need to really examine where we are in the budget and dig deep to make some changes to show that, we are being very, very thoughtful when we're bringing on new employees in a brand new division. This would be creating a new division. And I will say, I think that we have ESE staff who are very well versed in the ESE law and the federal law and the state law around special ed. This is their life's work. They keep up with it. They do their own professional development around keeping up and abreast with the current changes in the laws. They attend conferences. They are very well versed in law. But it's the litigation piece. And imagine how, you can't say how much we would be spending on litigation, whether we had an in-house person or an out-of-house person. There's no data around that. It's not fair to say we wouldn't be spending this type of money on litigation if we had an in-house person. There's no data to support that. But I do think it needs to really have a deep financial dive on this, especially when you're asking taxpayers to give us more money for salaries. I'm happy to spend money on salaries inside the schoolhouse, But I think we need to look at the 15% that we're spending on salaries outside the schoolhouse and get that better aligned with best practices so that we have more money to spend inside the schoolhouse on teachers and principals and guidance counselors and mental health staff and custodians and bus drivers and all of that. But, those are the conversations, I really want to have. And either way, you'd have to have these contracts out, with litigation and so forth. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Hahn. Member Combs?
I just want to clarify, just for my last couple comments, the liability of having people who are teachers or trying to interpret the law or trying to understand the ESC law, the federal, state law, that's where you're going to see more millions of dollars if we think our teachers and our staff should be interpreting federal law. So that's the most important, is we should have somebody in-house who's interpreting, understanding the law. It would not be the $650. If you look at Miami-Dade on their website, it says it's $500,000, and with that, we have a team of 3 people, and it would be attorney, paralegal, and assistant. This is a right-to-work state. People can be fired at any time. You hire an attorney, you're not happy with it, you fire. You don't have to go through a process. They're attorneys, okay? It's a right-to-work state, so we don't have to go through a whole process. At the end of the day, it's about servicing our special needs students the best we can, our relationship with parents so that we don't have to go into the court. It's about the day-to-day operations with our ESC students. It's about the day-to-day operations with our ESC teachers. I guarantee you, if you asked every single one of your staff members, 100% of them would want to have in-house attorneys because they would feel it would be less liability and more coverage. That's what it's about. And it's also about being effective efficiently, being really smart as far as our economics in every single penny. So it's not only about being efficient, it's about liability. It's also about making good fiscal decisions, and none of those align with that, especially in the direction that we're going in the last 3 years and the increase of the cost. And when you look at Miami-Dade, their district is actually bigger in size. They have more students. They have more ESC students, and they're spending $500,000. But that's okay. I'm just explaining why I'm going to vote against that, and I'm going to continue to advocate for running a more efficient district because I don't think 49 out of the 50 districts are doing something wrong, and we're doing something so wonderful because if we were, our increases, we wouldn't continue to increase with the cost of ESC. If we were doing something right, you would be showing me an agenda item where I would see a decrease in the cost. Okay, so thank you so much, and that's all I have to say for today on this.
Thank you, Member Combs. Member Washington?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I got a question. Maybe I missed out on something about how many IEPs we have where we would need that.
How many IEPs do we have in the district?
Mm-hmm.
So about 35,000.
35,000.
35,999 to be exact.
Okay, you just answered my question then. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Member Washington. And my question is, out of 39,995, how many litigation issues did we have, just let's say last year?
So last year we had 19 filed and 2 went to hearing.
Okay. So out of 35,000, we had 35,000 IEP plans, yes, last year. Oh, well, we could even say 36,000. We only have, how many again?
19 filed and 2 went to hearing for last school year. Okay. For this, well, I guess it was 2 years ago now. I'm still in. So for 23-24, we had 25 filed, 2 went to hearing.
Okay, and then if there's nothing filed, it goes to mediation as well?
So parents have options. They can, we can do mediation. They can file a state complaint. And if they file a state complaint, then we try to resolve those locally. If we can't, then the state investigates. And so we had a few of those last year, but only 3 actually had to be investigated. We solved everything else at the local level. But if you read through the procedural safeguards, parents can use any of those ways to resolve. And so it's not like we can, we prefer to do them all at the local level, but if a parent chooses one of the others, then we work with them on resolving that way.
And Superintendent, what is the immediacy if somebody, if we as a district contact this attorney?
I'm sorry.
The immediacy, if someone from the district contacts, for issue with the IEPs.
Right, so all of this attorney, it's what's it called, no matter where they're located, when we pick up the phone and call, they answer. In-house or not, when we pick up the phone, they call, they answer, correct? Yeah.
Okay. Okay, seeing no further comments or questions, please vote when your lights appear. And it passes with Member Combs descending from the vote. The next item is item 402, health insurance renewal for 2025. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And again, thank you. This agenda item is our health insurance renewal for 2025. Our district's health insurance committee met on May 16th of 2024 to review our medical trends, employee wellness engagement, and the 2025 health insurance renewal. As a result of our health insurance RFP last year, we were able to secure a rate cap increase of 8.9% for 2025, which was extremely beneficial as we continue to see our medical and pharmacy costs rise. The committee made small plan design changes, bringing that final increase for 2025 to only 5.4%. Our district will continue to cover the employee-only cost on the Aetna local plan, which will cost the district approximately $119 million. Employees will continue to have access to a wellness program, as well as zero copays for visits to a CVS Health Club, Health Hub, or Minute Clinic. And Madam Chair, that is the health insurance renewal agenda item.
Thank you, Superintendent Ayers. I need a motion and a second to approve item C 402. I have a motion by Member Washington and a second by Member Hahn. Member Gray and Member Rendon, you pulled this item. Do you have any questions or comments, Member Gray?
Sorry, but Dr. Tracy Schatzberg, Dr. Patton are here as well to answer any questions regarding the health insurance renewal.
Member Gray?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And what a marvelous or impressive, forget the word marvelous, what an impressive amount of negotiation, because 8.9% was the national trend, and then yet our final rate increase was 5.4%. And the hiccup was, I think, $5 extra for the copay. Is that about right? So, and I know this is a business that leans itself maybe to switching or looking at self-insurance as well. But anyway, the question I have is the design change with an additional $5 copay for primary and specialty care. Now, are there any other design changes? I mean, I don't have the whole thick book, but I have a feeling you'll know the answer.
Look at that, I just took it right off. Does that mean good luck? Like it's a good luck sign right there. So, okay, so let's talk about plan design changes. The group that came together, our insurance committee, was compiled of our unions, and we came together as a group and said, how can we help get it down? And so we did that by increasing some copays to go to your primary care physician. If you pay $25, now you'll pay $30. Pay $15, you'll now pay $20. Same thing for specialists. We had a slight increase on our prescription drug copays as well. And then there is the upfront benefit allowance that it's actually called an HRA now, but for Humana it was called an upfront benefit allowance. That used to be $1,000 and it's been reduced to $750. The insurance committee was very strategic about that because we love our HRA and our fund balance, but what we found with our Aetna plan, and by the way, we've got a great team behind us, is that our employees don't use it as much because it's a little more richer.
So Yeah, no. That's important to note. And also, when we talk about mental health, and I know we had Hazel, I can't remember if we have it still, Superintendent Van Ayers, or not. It was online counseling. But how does the CVS handle the mental health counseling? Because the number one priority, as we all know, and I know this is for employees, but the mental health part of the equation is very much in front and center of school board members' minds and our staff. So how will we see any changes compared to Humana?
Thank you for that question. No, actually, we still will be able to offer the virtual health care and the mental health through that. So I think it's still going to be comprehensive, and the employees have the opportunity to have it. And I think what's important about it is that it's still very confidential, so they can be independent and being able to manage their own mental health versus having to go through us. And so that's really important. I do just want to point out that the conversations and the meeting that we had to discuss what we wanted to offer and bring forward for the board to look at, that it was a consensus driven, lots of conversations, lots of considerations around it before we actually brought it through with this increase, and felt like there was a really good job done of looking at everything and all employees to make the decision around the 5.4%, increase that we came forward with.
Okay, well, and I thank you for that. And one change we do know, and I don't know whether you have it in the design change vocabulary, but we had Go 365, and now we have Vitality for You. Now, all this is to say, the whole universe of our wonderful employees, our staff members, we care about their health and their preventative health. So, Ms. Marshall, thank you for coming. Can you say or share any differences, because we right now are shifting right to a complete different insurance apparatus for our staff members to be healthy and aware?
Sure. Well, we knew that we wanted to replace Go 365 because we had over 13,000 employees participating in it, and it was a great free benefit that actually paid the employee for participating in it. So we went with the industry leader, Vitality, and we're very pleased with it. We picked it because, and I think you'll appreciate this, Mrs. Gray, with your health background and passion for fitness and mental health too, it's a very solidly science-based program. It meets an employee where they are because it's based on stages of change. So an employee that's just getting into exercise or just thinking about maybe doing some breathing exercises for stress, they can get started in the app or online because it really does a great job of meeting the employee where it is. So when you asked about the differences between this program and Go 365, it is a much more well-rounded program. It is not so heavy on fitness. And so the focus areas that are brought forward in this program allow an employee to pick what is of interest to them and get engaged. And the reason we care about that is because engaged employees, through our data with Go 365, they're costing us less money. They're costing themselves less money to the tune of about 30% lower medical claims. They also stick around longer. There's lower turnover with our engaged employees in this type of program. Vitality's book of business aligns with what our experience has been, so we know that we are going to, after a year with this program, see those similar results and impact for our district.
Well, that's excellent. And we still have an ambassador per school, a health ambassador?
Yes, they're Wellbeing for You champions.
Okay.
And we have over 200 employees that have said, yes, I want to champion my coworkers' well-being. I want to get these resources from our well-being department. I want to help our employees engage in this program and all the other things we have going on, like our mammogram bus events and our employee assistance program and our financial well-being programs. And so those employees are integral to the success of any of this going on because they're really the ones that are there in the schools sharing these resources.
And will you promise that those ambassadors will push our Race for Education 5K,
Always
right?
do. Absolutely.
All right. Thanks so much, and thank you all for doing a great job. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Rend?
Thank you, Madam Chair. You know, as I look at these numbers, Edna, I know, I said this to Dr. Patton earlier, you saved my children's lives. I mean, Aetna provided my preemies with quite a quality of insurance and coverage. But as I look from the dais and I know what our teachers make, it's become larger than their mortgage to take care of their families. When I look at employee plus one at $1,750, that's more than a lot of people's mortgages, especially our teachers. And so this is not an Aetna issue. This is a district issue that we really have to make sure that we are doing, covering every stone and looking at every option to be able to provide affordable health care to our employees. This is just almost unattainable by many of our employees, especially if you have a family of more than 3 children. I don't know how they could do it. I couldn't, you know, I mean, my husband carries my health insurance. And for our entire family, we pay less than this. So we absolutely as a district have to do better in giving our employees as much option as possible. I understand that there's part of contract negotiations and the rise, and we knew it's going to be an increase. But at this point in time, with what our teachers make, we are not giving them affordable health care if they have a family. This monthly is just above and beyond. Like I said, it's more than most of their mortgages. And so I think we really need to make sure that we do our due diligence and make sure we provide opportunity and education around any kind of health care that we can provide to our employees. So I thank you for doing your due diligence. I thank you for Aetna providing the coverage that you have to our employees. But I implore our staff to really, really look at finding affordable coverage for our employees, however we need to do that, because at this point, it's beyond many of their means. So thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no further questions or comments, please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. The next item is item 502, amendment to the Memorandum of Understanding between Hillsborough County Schools and the University of Tampa to provide education courses to HCPS teachers pursuing the Level 1 Educational Leadership Certification. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And board members, the reason you have this item in front of you, this is a requirement, this MOU is a requirement from the University of Tampa, so that's the reason this MOU is coming before you. In order to meet the increased demand of placing highly qualified and diverse HCPS teachers in leadership position, this is around educational leadership, we need additional educators to earn their Ed Leadership State Certificate. This MOU amendment aligns with the district strategic goal 3 to develop a diverse and highly effective workforce. University of Tampa is going to provide district employees with a 20% reduction in tuition through a teacher partnership grant to enroll in their leadership programs. And there is no cost requirements for Hillsborough for HCPS with this MOU amendment. So this is just as an opportunity for us. Again, reason you have it in front of you, this is a requirement of University of Tampa, this MOU approved by our board. This is an opportunity to get more of our teachers that have been in the classroom for 2-3 years and to move to some leadership positions. And Teresa Campbell, our Director of in Leadership Development, is back there if you have any questions regarding this MOU regarding University of Tampa and HCPS.
Thank you, Superintendent Ayers. I need a motion and a second to approve item C502. I have a motion by Member Washington and a second by Member Gray. Member Combs, you pulled this item.
Okay, thank you, Chair Perez. First and foremost, I want to say to Teresa Campbell, thank you so much. You're just an amazing person. You do such a great job with our leaders. You've done so much. I was so glad that you were recognized at HASA, like long overdue. You do a great job. I just want to thank you for all of that and all your hard work. And as I discussed with you, I'm very excited. UT's right here, being a partner with the MOU. I just, when I called you because I was like, it's great to see an MOU. I haven't seen an MOU with a discount rate, but I also hadn't seen an MOU for USF for a few years. So we want to partner up with all colleges, all universities. But for me, obviously, I went to USF undergrad and grad, and I'm on the USF Dean's Advisory Council for, our public College of Education here in Hillsborough County. So I just wanted to make sure that people knew, our leaders knew, that although we don't provide, I know UT provides a different type of leadership training that we don't provide for people who have master's degrees that don't have that ed leadership degree. I just wanted to make sure that we keep talking about USF as well, as they have their comprehensive master's degree program, their educational specialists, and their PhD programs. And USF is ranked number 38 among all public school graduate schools in the United States. So I think that's something huge. And, the tuition's always going to be a little bit less in public than private, but that's okay. And I think this is a great opportunity for whoever chooses UT or USF. But as an advocate for USF, I wanted to make sure that we talk, and an advocate of UT, because, I think they're both great schools. But I wanted to make sure that, our teachers knew that there were multiple programs, because the MOU wasn't here for USF. Since I've been on the board, we haven't had one, and I wanted to make sure to let people know of that. That's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Member Combs. Member Hahn?
So, I love seeing university school district partnerships. It's a lot of the work I did at USF, and I love that we're building pathways into our schools for principals. And this is a night to celebrate University of Tampa. So, they're a great school, they're local here, and convenient for some of our teachers, and they are a great choice. There's a lot of good choices, but tonight is certainly the night to celebrate the University of Tampa. So thank you for bringing this to the board. Thank you to the University of Tampa for providing this discount to our principals, and we look forward to more partnerships. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Hahn. Seeing no further comments or questions, please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. The next item is item 601, advertisement framework for the 2024-25 fiscal year, proposed millage rates, tentative budget notice of budget hearing, proposed tax increase, and notice of tax for school capital outlay, and allow staff to make modifications as updated information is received from Tallahassee. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And this 601, really 601 and 602 together, but I want to start with this is something we do every single year. So this advertising framework and the calendar, which is on 602, we'll do one at a time. But this 601, this is the advertising framework we do every year. This has nothing to do with the referendum. The millage is going to be, on the ballot in November. This has zero to do with that. This is what we do every single year. And board members, you've been through our process of first public hearing and final hearing. So this is just the advertisement for 601, and then 602 is the calendar. FLDOE, and there's some things I also want to mention. The FLDOE will provide the actual millage rates to be levied by July 19th. So that's when we find out what that is. These rates will be reflected in the newspaper ad to be published on July 28th and on the property tax bills mailed out by the property appraiser's office. Important to note, HCPS does not set the millage rate. This board doesn't set the millage rate. Superintendent doesn't set millage rates. These are set by FLDOE in order to participate in the FEFP. So these millage rates, which we'll find out on July 19th, this item is the advertisement of when we receive them on July 19th. On July 28th, then we'll begin that advertisement. Within 2 to 5 days of that advertisement, that is when we have that first public hearing, which is that board meeting August 1st that you've all been through in years past. The budget numbers for fiscal year 24-25 will continue to change as the year-end process is completed, and that final hearing public date is September the 5th. So to summarize, July 19th, we will receive the millage rates, whatever that is, set by the DOE. We don't set those millage rates. It's all set by DOE on how much revenue they need to get from local property taxes. So those millage rates are set. July 28th begins the advertisement. This item is the advertising framework. framework, and then we do that first public hearing August 1st at the board meeting, and then we'll have the final hearing on September the 5th, which is that final hearing date. So that's 601, which is the advertisement, and then 602, if you looked at 602, it's just basically the calendar of everything that I just outlined. So, Madam Chair, that is 601, and Ms. Garcia is here if you have any particular questions right on advertising, but this is just an advertising framework agenda item.
Thank you, Superintendent Ayers. I need a motion and a second for item C601R. I have a motion by Member Rendon and a second by Member Combs. Member Combs and Member Rendon, you pull this item. Member Rendon?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Superintendent Ayers, for spelling that out. I think it's very important that when we bring this to the dais, that we make the public aware that this is not the millage that we have already approved on this board to be on the ballot. This is about the state and local fees that are determined outside of our district. And so I want to make sure that I pulled this item so that the public is aware that this is not determined by us. This is the way in which the state levies funding for our individual schools through our taxes and et cetera. So that was my reason for pulling this, just to make sure that we make a statement that demonstrates that this is things that are undetermined by our district, but are funds in which we utilize to support our district. So thank you.
Thank you, Member Rendon.
I had a very similar, I pulled this just to make sure that the public, the next two items for those two reasons. Thank you.
Seeing no further questions or comments, please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. The next item, as Superintendent Ayers mentioned, is 602, proposed calendar for the adoption of fiscal year 2024 and 2025.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We'll get right to it. I mean, this is just everything that that I just outlined with those dates. This is the calendar that lists out when the hearings are, when the advertisement period. So that is item 602. It's the calendar which follows 601.
Thank you, Superintendent. I need a motion and a second to approve item C602R. I have a motion by Member Gray and a second by Member Combs. Member Combs, you pulled this item.
Okay, I pulled it for the same reason as the previous one. Thank you.
Okay, seeing no further questions or comments, please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. The next item is item 702, invitation to bid proxy plumbing services. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. RFP for epoxy services was advertised on Vendor Link on June 6, 2022. However, no responsible bidders submitted bids. Maintenance operations did not need these services again until 2023, when they chose to perform epoxy-related services through a construction manager until a new solicitation could be awarded. An ITB for epoxy services was advertised in April of 2024 as the need for services increased. This ITB provides the district with vendors to offer epoxy services for the potable and non-potable plumbing needs throughout the district. This ITB offers a method to repair or restore plumbing lines in a less intrusive manner than traditional plumbing repair methods. That is item 702, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Superintendent Ayers. I need a motion and a second to approve item C702. I have a motion by Member Gray and a second by Member Rendon. Member Rendon, you pulled this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, Mr. Farkas, one of the reasons that I pulled this item was, although we said that we went out for 17 different companies to give bid, and we only had 3 responses, all 3 of those responses were outside of our local area. And so are we having trouble getting local vendors to be able to work within our?
No, that's a good question. I appreciate the opportunity to respond to it. So it's very specific to services. So epoxy piping is a very specified service, and most people do it through a construction manager. So just doing it on its own is very unusual. And even though 3 people responded, one of those wasn't even totally responsive. So it really was 2 people that we had a choice for. And you'll see on most of our bids, especially in maintenance, we have tons of local people. It's a big push for us, especially OSD vendors. That's a priority for us. But in this case, it's a very unique service, and this is the first time we've done that. So we'd love for it to be local. It makes it easier for us, and we want to support the local economy in that part too. But because this is so specified, I think that's why we didn't receive that. You'll see on most of our other bids, we have lots of local people that want to respond to it.
Yeah, it kind of triggered me on this one because both of them, when I looked at the local opportunities, there was more local opportunities in the next one. We were dealing with this thing, but in this one particular, like you said, there a construction oversight. Is there a way to get more creative so that, because these are all so far outside of our local area, it just concerns me that increases the cost, it increases everything. And I thought there were construction options that would be able to do this work. And could we look beyond what we're currently looking at to try to develop some of those relationships? Obviously for this one, we can't, but moving forward, could we?
100%. And we also, now we have a comparison. Because we didn't have this out to bid and no one responded the first time, we had to use a construction manager, so we know what that costs. We think this is going to be cheaper, but we'll actually be able to compare. We'll have what it was with the construction manager versus what it is direct with here. But to answer your question, yes, we'd love to foster, and we'll continue to foster those relationships with plumbing companies so we can find a local vendor that'll do this, because it's worth it. And not to go down a rabbit hole, but there's most of the large districts. When you talk to Boston or Philadelphia, these big districts, the older the school gets, the pipes underneath it are the first things that go. And replacing them and digging them up is a crazy cost to do that. This is a solution that's much more economical, and it provides a better solution to it. So this is going to happen more and more. This is one of those items that you're going to see as years go on that we'll see more need for that. So having a local vendor to do that, maybe it's fostering that conversation with a local vendor to say, hey, it's worth it for you to
get certified to be able to do some more things. Yeah.
Exactly. That's a great point.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Member Rendon. Seeing no further comments or questions, please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. The next item is item 703, invitation to bid for pressure washing services. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Chair Perez. This invitation to bid provides a district with a vendor for services related to exterior building pressure washing on an as-needed basis, district-wide. This ITB will ensure district sidewalks and walkways are pressure washed, utilizing eco-friendly cleaning agents to remove algae, sand, vegetation, dirt, oils, and gum, to provide a service which can be performed after hours, evening, or weekends that will not affect student learning, and that is item 703.
Thank you, Superintendent Ayers. I need a motion and a second to approve item C703. I have a motion by Member Rendon and a second by Member Combs. Member Rendon, you pulled this item. Do you have any questions or comments?
Yeah, I was just waiting for the board. Thank you so much. So again, I'm kind of back to the same kind of topic, because in this particular situation, we had a lot of local vendors, but we went with an outside vendor. So I was a little confused because there was nothing else of any comparison of why we made those kind of choices.
No, it's a great question. So we picked 3 vendors in this one too. 2 of them are local, and one's an OSD vendor, and then one that was an outside vendor to do it. We prioritize that, but cost is a big part of it, is what they do. Even though they're based somewhere else, they have a local office that's here. But there's 2 local vendors, one OSD and one that's outside. But in the comparison, it's the cost is one of the lead factors as to why that outside vendor was able to do it. I will also tell you that the amount of pressure washer we're doing has gone up substantially. A lot of it because A, we were short custodians, or B, pressure washers break a lot more, and we don't have that really service in-house like we used to. So this is going to happen a lot more. If the outside vendor is not able to support us in the way we need them to, the great part about approving 3 is that we can use the other 2. There's not a order that it has to go for that part of it too. We have the option to use any of those 3. I will say that, again, priority is for us to use the supplier diversity and use the local and minority businesses first.
Okay, the other question I have is, like you mentioned, that we're no longer doing it in-house. Have we revisited, I know the same thing when it comes to our landscaping, have we revisited the in-house as being a cost comparison again, knowing that vendors outside are going more and more up? So
we have, and I think you're going to see an item, not the next board meeting, the one after that, to talk about some of the things some of the calls you guys get are about mowing and things like that. We've fixed some of our athletic fields and able to do that too. Now we're going to go the next step to do some of our other mowing programs to do that. And it's a hybrid. I do believe it's important to use local vendors, but having someone that's an expert in supervising that, as opposed to some of our guys, that is something that we found after visiting other large districts. Mr. Moore and myself will be bringing to the board in the next meeting or two a recommendation to do that, to find that hybrid of them supervising our people so that our principals aren't responsible for filling out forms, doing things like that. We've already done athletic fields and seen some positive stuff. It's a learning curve for both of us, but we think it's positive. We're going to move to weeds, the things that you guys get complaints about from constituents. That's the next part will be, and you'll see that in the next couple weeks.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Seeing no further comments or questions, please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. The next item is item 704, approve the interlocal agreement for distribution of the proceeds of the community investment tax to be levied from December 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2041, and project list. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And again, this is regards to the community investment tax. I just want to kind of frame this around, if you remember, our initial 30-year community investment tax, 1996 through 2026. County Commission has chosen to put it on the ballot early in 2024. So this item, all local entities expected to receive community investment tax CIT funds must enter an interlocal agreement. And that's what's in front of you now, is that interlocal agreement with Hillsborough County, ensuring structured and transparent distribution. The agreement mandates compliance with state laws and unanimous consent for any changes or termination. The agreement, effective from December 1st, 2026 to December 31st, 2041. So I want to make sure those dates are clear. Notice this starts 2026 when the initial 30-year is over. So the initial 30 years, 96 to 26. This one picks up 26 to 41. And through the County Commission, this includes the City of Tampa, City of Temple Terrace, City of Plant City, Hillsborough County School Board, and, of course, Hillsborough County. Hillsborough County School Board would receive 5% of CIT proceeds, with the rest distributed among the county and municipalities based on annual population estimates. CIT will fund essential infrastructure projects, and this particular CIT, the way it's written, has to be used for new construction, different from the initial one from 96 to 26, where it could be used for other capital needs. This one is very specific to new construction, new builds, new schools. So right now, the district plans to use the CIT proceeds for middle school VV, elementary school F, and elementary school G, and those are the middle schools in Waimama, 2 in Waimama, and 1 in Plant City, are the new builds there. So that is the interlocal agreement for the CIT, which is a requirement for us to approve this interlocal agreement. So I do. And I'll get into other if we have any discussion later, but that kind of summarizes. I just want to make sure we're clear. And Mr. Porter, if you have anything else you want to add.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Superintendent, Madam Chair. As Mr. Ayers said, that this is a requirement that the County Commission adopted through an ordinance in order to put their tax on the ballot in November. We have to do the interlocal agreement that he said. We also are holding a public hearing tonight so that anyone who wants to comment on our projects, because one of the requirements for the CIT is that each jurisdiction or government provide the projects they're going to do. So we're going to hear from, if there's anyone here that wants to speak about that. That list has been published a week in advance, and people know what that is, but we do have to have the public comment on it. Once the board adopts this tonight, if you choose to adopt it, Mr. Farkas will then plug that information into a resolution and send that to the County Commission. That's the instrument that they've requested. That's not something we typically do, but we're following their process on this. So, Madam Chair, at this point, I would ask you if you would ask the public, if anyone in the public wishes to speak on our list of proposed projects that will be funded by the community investment tax.
Do we have any speakers this evening on the list of proposed projects that we have? Seeing none.
Now you would need a motion and a second and any discussion that you might have.
I need a motion and a second.
This would be approving the interlocal agreement and the referendum that Mr. Farkas will propose.
I have a motion by Member Washington and a second by Member Rendon. Do we have any comments or questions? Member Rendon?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So what I want to know is, this was going to be for 15 years. And so we know that there is 2 additional schools proposed to be built in the Plant City area that are not listed on this, and I don't understand why.
And if I missed, so that we have the 2 Waimama school, Waimama Middle School, Waimama Elementary, and 1 Plant City that would be used from specifically these CIT funds for those 3. Other builds would come out of other
Impact fees. So this will allows us, so if we're paying for VV out of using the CIT funds, paying ourselves back, then the money that we budgeted to go from impact fees to that will now be able to go to Plant City.
But if we don't include them and the funds that we get in less, we'll be able to use them for those other new builds.
It's a great question, Ms. Rendon, if I may respond to that. So we have to adopt what the current list is now, but we have the right to amend that in the future through the public hearing process. I clarified that with the county because I anticipated that question. So it's right now, I think that you have the answer from Mr. Farkas, but in the future, if we need to use the money for something that's not on this list, we'll have a public hearing, amend it, and send that to the county.
Okay, so we can amend it at any point in time. And if we get more funds, we could adjust for those funds because, again, impact fees can be used to different things too. I don't want to be limited on CIT for only 3 schools.
That's correct. And the last tax did increase. So it is something that we'd have to come back and approve that and have the public hearing, as Mr. Porter said. So yes, if we anticipate the prices keep going up and we get more money for that, then obviously we come back to the board with another project or additional funding for a project.
Well, my other concern is these are the first 3, but we won't have those funds within those first couple years. It's an extension of the funds. So my concern is if we limit it to these 3, we won't have the funds during the time in which these builds need to occur. If we limit it to these 3 and that we actually have costs 10 years out where we need the build, and that's when the funds are coming in, we want to make sure that we can put it to wherever the need is at the time we receive the funds. Because if it does it like this, we'd have to take out a loan or something else. We won't have the funds at the exact moment of these builds. So it is a concern of mine that we only listed 3 builds based upon the fact that that money will not be available all at once.
It will not be, and obviously it'd be a board decision to bond that out, but there's a cost to doing that and borrowing money. Our goal and the superintendent's goal was to not go into debt and do that. You are correct. We'll have the sales tax for VV is a perfect example, the middle school that's listed on here. We have money in sales tax that will allow us to borrow from ourselves, not have to go into debt, not take out that, and be able to pay ourselves back. That is 100% something that's allowed in that part too. We've done that sometimes with impact fees to get there. But Ms. Rendon, you're exactly right. The cost and amount of money we have for builds is not, we don't have enough money to do all the things we need to do. So your line of questioning is 100% correct. But if we go back, we get more money or we find a different need based on what happens in here. My understanding is we come back to the board and say, yes, we want to add middle school A or whatever the next thing is, that part of it too. We're allowed to do that.
I do want to make it very clear from the dais that we do have a need for 2 additional schools over the course of the next 15 years. Because we have currently right now our high school in Waimama being built to open in 2025. We'll be hoping a career high school again in 2025. We have a middle school and an elementary school that are needed to be built based upon overcrowding in other schools and needs in the South County. And then 3 additional schools, the elementary, middle, and high school. And our schools that we need based upon population growth in East and South County, overcrowding of our current schools, will not be covered under the CIT fully by the amount of money we're receiving from the CIT. Am I correct?
100%. That's correct.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Member Rendon. Member Gray?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And we're reminded that, Mr. Farkas, that our 2018 referendum that we passed, the sales tax, does include new construction. But I think what we need to do is make clear that how this interfaces, because when you deduct, and you might want to have the figure right out loud, when you take 25% and now you're down to 5%, a significant loss, you may want to share, if you can, the amount, the millions that we will be losing in capital funds in 2 years, which is 2026. Then when you have that particular number, we have to say, well, here's what we're losing. How are we going to build new schools, whether we finish that one, but there's also other schools on the list will we use, number one, the sales tax money? Will we use, and we don't, impact fees are not going to cover it, and you know that. So we have to look to see, we need the reality check. So I don't know if you have that figure handy dandy.
Yeah, we can. So I'll go ahead and start, Mr. Farkas. You can jump in. So I'm glad you asked that question, because you're right. In the initial CIT from 96 to 26, we did receive 25% off the top. This, what you see in front of you, is a 5%. But let me be clear. From 1996 to 2014, we received monies from the CIT. We kept zero of it. That money was all bonded out to build schools. So basically it's a mortgage. We took out a mortgage, a 30-year mortgage for Riverview, Shields, and Davis Elementary, Riverview High, Shields, and Davis. So from 96 to 2014, the monies we received, that 25%, basically the district takes that money and pays its mortgage. There was zero extra money from 96 to 2014. So yes, we received 25%, but those were to build buildings that we didn't have the monies for back in 1996. Since 2014, we've had a little bit of money, as Mr. Farkas mentioned, as we received more money through sales tax, we received a little bit of extra money, $4 million, $5 million, $6 million. I think the most has been $10 million that we received for CIT. So we're not receiving, it's not like the 25% the district's holding $80 million a year that's coming out of CIT. All that money was bonded out, to Ms. Rendon's point, to build schools. The same issue we have right now, they had back in 1996, so they had to take out a mortgage to build those schools. So I want to be clear, 96 to 2014, we're not receiving $80 million a year. The money comes in, it's just like it goes into your house and you write your check to pay your mortgage, and that gets paid out. So we didn't have extra monies. The extra monies that we received since 2014, the $5 to $12 million we receive, have been used for, in the past CIT, we could use it for other capital costs. This one is specific to new builds. So I wanted to make that clear. So even though we're going from 25 to 5, right? As a district on the capital side, we're not taking in less money, because that money that came in from 96 to 2014 came in and went back out to pay for schools we built in the early 2000s. Mr. Farkas, anything else there?
No, and actually we average over from 2014 to 2024 about $10 million is what it equals,
okay.
Which is what we'll be receiving in theory, a little bit more than that from the 5% we'll get. Now, obviously if we had 25%, to your point, Ms. Gray, now it would be a lot more money. But there's not a big drop off from where we are because we bonded that all out up front. So for the last 10 years, we've got about $10 million a year, and that will be the same amount we get over the top of as we go forward if it passes.
So what I'm hearing is then I should have a sigh of relief that we are having a deduction of 20%. That means that we're going to be fine in terms of the growth to hit hard
Good
on.
Question. No, not at all.
Right.
No, that's not it. I just mean the money that comes in over the top is going to be the same because they bonded it out in 1996. Right. To Ms. Rendon and to your point, we do need the 25% to pay for new growth and new construction. So it's not that we don't need the money, it's that the money's not dropping off because it was already bonded out to start out with. That's the difference. It's surplus versus there. Your question is not a bad question. It's a good one, which is, do we need the money? It's the same thing that Ms. Rendon said. In 100%, we need the money. 5% is great. 25% would have helped us a lot more than the 5% does, for sure.
Okay, so yeah. And Superintendent Van Ayers, I don't want this to come out as this is good news, because in my mind, it is so askewed in the face of super duper growth in Southeast County. And we are. This is not a good news item by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah. So, and thank you for bringing this up, because it's important to know that the CIT money that we received, that money goes out. That's the reason in 2018. So back in 1996. When the need to build new schools, the district went into debt to build these new schools. That is my intention, to go into debt at all. We need to have the monies to be able to build schools with cash that we have on hand, not to go into debt. When you go into debt, you'd still pay that off. And that's why in 2018, if we remember back to the half penny, because our capital dollars were drained because monies were coming in, but then monies were going out to pay for schools that we built in the early 2000s. All right, so that's why that was the urgency behind the half-penny sales tax, and that's the situation we're find ourselves in. But to Ms. Rendon's point earlier, to what you're attaining to, is that we don't want as a district to go into debt again. We want to be able to utilize fees from CIT, from half-penny sales tax, from impact fees, to be able to pay for schools that we need to build.
Yeah, and the danger, of course, in 2017, we took out a $10 million, it's a loan, our bond rating went down. All kinds of, the dominoes were going very quickly falling one by one. And what you're saying is we have a built-in preventative system so we don't get back down to 3% fund balance and bond rating going down. This is a very, very large amount of thinking that's going to happen, planning. Mr. Farkas, you've been keeping up with it very closely, and I appreciate that. And I think the board needs to realize just how serious it is in terms of, interfacing with the growth that we are experiencing.
Well, I also want to say, just real quick, because I know he won't say it, Superintendent Ayers set up one-on-one meetings with each one of the Board of County Commissioners to explain and advocate for us to get money, anybody that would meet with him to do that. I was at a couple of them, but he did a lot of them on his own to try to say, hey, explain that need. I mean, obviously they have a lot of needs, the Board of County Commissioners, so I'm not judging how they spend the money, but it was not from lack of advocacy on the superintendent's part.
Okay, well, thank you. Enough that I said. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Combs?
Thank you. I said, oh, I'm judging. No, I'm just kidding. Not really. So here's my question. The CIT tax, could the county commission be going for it another time, not this election?
Yeah, the law changed that they have to wait 4 years. I mean, they could be going it when it expires 2 years from now.
So 2 years from now, they could go in 2 years from now when it expires?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that was my big question. And then, as I said, I think once again, this is just being short-sighted. Once again, not looking at the future. Once again, not thinking about things. Let's be real. You're not going to be able to keep up with the growth. You're not going to be able to build up with the schools. Member Rendon, people can tell you whatever they're going to tell you, but that's not true. You're not going to be able to keep up with the growth because the cost of these buildings are costing more and more and more. And the going from 25 to 5%, I think, is extremely insulting. Because why is there 5%? Because they're trying to get the voters. It's not because there's a care about public education and public schools. And in South County, also, as we are going into more and more bad weather, more and more hurricanes, our schools are used as shelters very often, especially in South County with that I-4 corridor. What would you imagine could happen as far as the growth and the shelters, Mr. Farkas, in South County? With having only 5%?
It is most assuredly a problem for us. South County and Plant City will we will not be able to build schools fast enough to keep up with the growth, which means overcrowded schools, portables, things like that.
And so here we are in District 5, Mr. Washington's district, and parts of my district where our enrollment has decreased tremendously. You're looking at schools that were built for 700 or 800 students that now have 150 students, and then you're looking at South County where we can't keep up with the build. We're not even looking at the infrastructure, and now our county commission is going from 25% to 5%, and I should hear a lot more outrage from this board. I should hear a lot more people talking, directing the county commission. You expect us to build these schools, but guess what? We're not going to build them. It's not going to be possible. It's not going to happen. So I don't think sitting there kicking the ball down the road and promising we're going to build schools, it's not going to happen. We're going to build 1 or 2 schools, but with some of our aging schools and all the needs in our schools and all the problems that we have, with air conditioners and other things, maintaining those schools. And then you look at schools like Alonzo High School, where we're kind of like, where there needs to be some growth there because there's no room for the band. There's no room for different students. You have growth pattern areas. There's no way you're going to be able to build those schools with 5%. And I don't care where else you're going to get the money. So let's just be realistic and say, on this day, we said the money's not going to come. So County Commission, when you do your 5%, just realize you're not going to have the schools that you want in South County. So voters should know that they're not going to have the schools that they need in South County.
Thank you, Member Combs. Member Rendon?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to clarify, while I was at the County Commission when things were happening and speaking with the commissioners, I believe that they said the 5% would be about $142 million is what we're looking at over the course of 15 years. Am I correct?
No, I think it was 187.
187 was the number I had.
187.
No.
Over 15
over
years.
the course, that the 142 is approximately a little less than 10%, $10 million a year. That's why I said I don't believe it was the 180 million. What they were saying was the 7.5% was 187 million. It was the 142. So consequently, again, that's one of my concerns, that we don't have listed all of our builds. I don't care if the builds are over. I think we need to make sure public record shows all of our need for our district. And I think that not putting that on any records, demonstrating our next 15 years of new builds, it does a disservice to this district. So I believe, and I think this is part, we've got to list what our needs are moving forwards of new builds. If we don't end up building it because of the funds, we do. But putting only 3 builds on here does a disservice and gives a very false picture of our need. So I would highly recommend that we put all the needs for the next 15 years on this agenda item, because it's critical that the public understands that we as a district have recognized that this will be the need for this district. How we go get the funds, we'll work on that, but we have to demonstrate our need. And I really find it critical that we make that decision, because this is where we get in trouble by not showing our need over the course of CIT. And so it's really important, because let's be realistic, County Commission quoted only these 3 schools. But we know over 15 years, we need more. So it's critically important. And currently our current high school is costing us $180 million. So we need to make sure that we have public knows and we have in writing what our needs are as a district. Don't wait to amend it. Do it now. We know what it is now. We know there's 5,000 homes going out there off in Plant City, in North Plant City. We know there is. There's an additional 2,000 homes in the middle of Plant City. We know we're already over 80% crowded at Sumner High School. We know we have to have a middle school and a high school. We know we already have the entire 6th grade and portables at Shields Middle School. Why do we not list all of our needs so the public and everyone looking at this document recognizes our need? They make a decision not to cover it, their problem. We need to make sure we publicly make aware our needs. Thank you.
Yeah. So I think, Mr. Poore, let's just talk through this a minute. I think the initial, why we had the 3 schools listed, was of the 140 to 180, whatever that number is, where were those monies going to go? So that's where staff listed those 3 schools specific. I'm open if we want to list the number of schools, if we want to make an addendum to this agenda item and just acknowledge that we will add 10 schools, because we do, as you mentioned, over 15 years, we'll have, I don't even know what that number is over 15 years.
You're right, and like I said,
I'm open.
The staff came from the approach. I came from the approach that it had to the numbers had to match or be pretty close to that part. So, Jim, if that's not, or Mr. Porter, sorry.
So I think you raise a good point. I think what we're here tonight for is the county, it's their tax, it's their referendum. We get 5%. That translates into X amount of money. They want to know what we're going to do with that money. So let me finish. Please let me finish. And so we have a legal obligation to provide how we're going to spend the money. If, to your point, and that's why I wanted to finish before you spoke, if we wanted to also, as an addendum or as a notation, say, you're giving us X amount of money, that will service these 3 projects. However, these are the other needs we have, and we need the public to know that, and we will be amending this in the future. But we can't legally send over a wish list, because that's not what this is about tonight. We're controlled by the ordinance that the County Commission adopted, and in order to get the 5%, we have to follow what they've directed us to follow. So we can accomplish what you want, but I want the board to have clarity on what your legal obligation is tonight, and that's to provide projects that can meet the amount of money that will be provided. We can also add what you suggested, but I want to make sure you understand if we're adding it, it's a wish list. It's not something that's going to be binding on them or binding on anyone. It's to provide public notice. But again, we're operating under their demand, really, through their ordinance of what they need from us in order for us to be included. And if we don't follow that, I mean, they could kick us out. I mean, I think there are, well, I'm telling you, I'm talking as the lawyer, as legal perspective. This is what you have an obligation to do tonight. We can accomplish what you want to accomplish, but I want to make sure there's clarity about how that's done in the resolution that we'll draft.
So my question with that statement is, these 3 schools right now are on the calendar we built before CIT is over. So if we list all of them, doesn't that say we're going to take a portion of it and add it to each one of them because we're getting the money over time? Because aren't we splitting hairs by saying, because typically this school right now, this last elementary school is supposed to be built in between 2028 and 2030. We've got another 11 years on there that we're going to be getting money. So the only way these schools would be built with their money is if we wait 15 years to build them. So realistically, part of that money will go to each of those 7 schools or whatever more we add. We're not going to be just putting all the money into one school. We won't have the money from them. So that's why I say we should absolutely list it, because we should be putting the money towards each of them and therefore not having to go out. Right now, if we're only tied to these 3, we're going to have to go out to debt to be able to do it and only put the money in those 3. It doesn't make sense to me logically why we would not list them, because we'll be using CIT over the course of the next 15 years.
Thank you, Member Rendon. Member Washington?
Thank you. I really want people to understand, and Member Rendon, you have a point. And I want people to understand, if we're not building those schools, and Mr. Farkas, you could understand this, we could be on double session. We will be on double session, and we will have people complaining because we don't have the money. And that's drastic, because I went through double session. So I just want the audience to understand that it's a possibility. If we don't get the money, we could be on double session.
And
yes, sir.
Respond to a little bit of that. The board approved, through our interlocal agreement with the county, a long-term planning study and an impact fee study that'll be coming in the coming months too, that will reinforce a third party saying this is how many schools updated with growth, what that looks like. So the board's going to have even more accurate information as to what's happened since 5 years ago. We did the last long-range planning study. It'll also give us an opportunity to share with the county commission, here's what the impact fee we think should be appropriate. Again, that's 100% their call. But I just want to let you know that it's definitely something that we'll know as far as that goes. But you're right. It's going to be portables, double sessions, a possibility.
Portable city like we used to have. Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair.
So before the board votes, I want to make sure we accomplish what Ms. Rendon has requested from Mr. Farkas. So as part of the resolution that you'll be drafting, do you understand what she wants and how we can accomplish that? And I'm thinking it will go in the whereas clauses. And we can work out that. But my question is, substantively, do you know what she needs to have in the resolution, what the needs are?
I do, and I feel like we can get it, and I'll work with you tomorrow to make sure we get that.
Okay, so then Mr. Washington made the motion. I'm going to state this, if you'll just agree to it, that the motion be, Mr. Washington made a motion, Ms. Rendon seconded it for this. So I'm just going to ask the maker of the a motion.
Visual.
Yeah. What did I say?
Beginning. Yeah, the very beginning.
Oh, no. A motion's already on the floor. And what I'm going to ask Mr. Washington to do is amend the motion to include what Ms. Rendon described, and Mr. Farkas and I will work together to make sure it's substantively correct. We'll put it in the agenda, put it in the resolution, and send that to the county commission. And so I think that accomplishes what you want. Okay? So if you could just, if you agree to that. No, you just say you agree with what I said, so, okay. Sorry.
I agree with Member Rendon.
Thank you. And now it's appropriate to vote once there are other
Thank
comments.
you. Please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. And tonight, there are no one signed up for employee comments. Which is shocking to us. Summer, yes. The heat got to him. Now we'll move into the superintendent comments.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Superintendent Ayers.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So my updates for this evening, I want to start around our organizational priorities around culture. Our student health clinics, this weekend kicks off Project Link's annual Back to School. Hard to believe we're getting to that point already. Our Back to School health clinics, this clinic will be located at the Swindle Medical Center from 9 a.m. to noon. These clinics provide Medicaid or for uninsured families across access to no-cost routine immunization, school physicals, and immunization record transfer. So those, as you see on the slide, all of our different student health clinics, and they begin this Saturday in Plant City and Ruskin. Spin Camp, our FACE team recently concluded their 3-week language acculturation camp for students. The summer program for immigrant newcomers allowed nearly 500 kindergarten to high school students to participate in various educational activities where they interacted with several organizations within our community and had access to free resources for them and their families. I think you kind of remember last board meeting we talked about Invention Convention. I want to congratulate Daniel Park, a 10th grader at King High School, on being invited to represent the U.S. at the Invention Convention America's 2024 competition. He recently presented his research project titled A Novel Simulation of Perchlorate Docking with PCR ABCD, don't ask me what that is, during the U.S. Nationals competition, received a patent application award. He will now work with law firms to officially patent his invention, which uses natural proteins to clean the environment of pollutants. So special congratulations to King High School sophomore Daniel Park. 3DE pitch competition. This was cool. I know our board is very involved in our 3DE and the tremendous success we've had in our schools with 3DE. I want to congratulate Chamberlain High School 3DE students Jaslyn Gonzalez, Elena Doki for winning Most Innovative Idea at the USF's Bull Pitch competition recently. They were the only high school students to pitch alongside college students. They shared their idea, iChow, which is an all-in-one pet feeder, monitoring system, and analytical health tool for your pet. This upcoming school year, Jaslyn and Lena will be participating in a year-long consultancy project where they will collaborate with a company in the Tampa area, come up with, and then present their findings at the end of the year. So we'll have to keep up to date with that. And board members, we talked a little bit about this, but we're starting to get some of those results from over the summer. I sent this out, but I just want to publicly recognize all of our schools, our IB schools. Alonzo had their first diploma class, and want to congratulate them with an 82%, and that one is an all lottery. Alonzo is an all lottery, open to all students, 82% diploma rate. You can see across the board increases with Hillsborough, King, Robinson, and Strawberry Crest with a 100%. Truly incredible what those schools were able to do, increases across the board. Just special congratulations to all of the teachers there, principals, APs, IB coordinators, did an amazing job. And as we know, those IB diplomas mean bright futures for those students. So special congratulations to them. So I mentioned our IB. I also want to mention our AP. For AP, we saw an 8% increase in our HCPS exam pass rate from last year to this year. And I want to make sure I say that again. So we just got the results back. We had an 8% increase in AP exam pass rate. And note, we got that 8% exam pass rate increase across all of our AP scores. So we'll start to disaggregate it. They're coming in now. But 27,000 AP exams were given. I want the board and public to know that 27,000 was the same amount of exams we gave in 22-23 to 23-24. So we gave the same amount of AP exams with an 8% increase in pass rate. So again, at our high schools, all of our teachers and principals, again, want to congratulate them. And all that to say, wow, we have ACE. And you guys, as board, you've been very supportive of our ACE programs. We now have ACEs expanded to every high school. So with ACE in every high school, we had all the same number of AP exams that were given, and then with that 8% increase. So where are the ACE results? We're still waiting for those results. However, Ms. Fawcett gave me these numbers earlier today. Hard to believe over 20,500 ACE exams were given to HCPS students in April and May, and at least over 13,000 took at least one ACE exam. So that's over 72,000 accelerated opportunities, including dual enrollment, were provided to our HCPS students during the 23-24 school year. Truly remarkable. I know at all of our graduations we were able to see the students up close and all their accomplishments. We were to hear some of that. Now we're getting the results in. So So that's some truly remarkable results. So I just special thanks to all of our teachers, our staffs that are out working tremendously hard at our school sites every day, and just great work. So more than job campaign, we are for around exceptional talent as we look to increase our decrease our number of vacancies across our sites and get more folks into our classrooms teaching. Just wanted to show some of the marketing, our bus wraps, city kiosks, and billboards that are out and about now. So coming up, we mentioned earlier our new Waimama High School. Help us name our new high school. It's opening in August of 2025. You can see some of the pictures that we have up already. Some of the pictures of what Waimama High School, or what the new naming of this school in Waimama will be. We have received to date, board members, being that window is open, we received, I just had Alexis send to me as this just opened, I think, this week. We've received at this point over 890 names already that have put it, yes, 800, over 800, 2 weeks, right? 1 week? 1 week, yeah. I think it's a week. Yeah, not even a week. Yeah. Since Monday, there we go. Since Monday, over 800. Now, I just had her text it to me now. Wanted to get an update. Over 800 names have been put into there. Right. So we're accepting these recommendations from the community. This state-of-the-art neighborhood school will accommodate this will be one of our larger high schools, 3,500 students. Some of its features include a two-story media center, which I got to see, I'm hearing cool things on that. EA Sports Lab, auditorium with an orchestra pit, two-story gymnasium, and various, hear that, Mr. What? Two-story gymnasium, I know, and various athletics facilities and fields. So here's what's important to know for the public. We'll be accepting recommendations through Friday, August 9th. So this is a long window that we have. Want to make sure we put this out there. Already 800 names in, so obviously the word is getting out. So thank you, board members. I know our communications team is pushing out. You all are pushing that out. We want to get our public input on the name. So over 800. So those will be through Friday, August 9th. It's open. Then on September 5th, the name suggestions will go to the board for a vote. So that ultimately the naming of the high school in Waimama will happen on September the 5th. And we have, again, over 850 submissions there. And Madam Chair, those are my comments this evening.
Thank you. Member Gray?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And Pablo, can you go ahead and put those slides up? And as Member Washington, this comes from the Thurgood Marshall Club poster contest. And Allison Edgecombe put this together, this contest, but I did want to show some of these posters the children made, and they were just really impactful. So, Pablo, yeah, just go ahead, and a few of these are just spell a lot of meaning. Yeah, this is the Randall. Schools from all over the district participate. Progress Village Middle School. And we just want to also congratulate these students. Annalisa Arroyo from Lomax Elementary. And here's Randall again. Aaliyah Dawson, 8th grade. Wow, look at this one. Randall. Sydney, Denmark, 8th grade. And they did a great job. And we just want to thank from our African American Task Force, Allison Edgecombe, from zero Thurgood Marshall Club a year and a half ago. She's now put together 43 clubs in middle school and in high school. Thank you, Allison Edgecombe. I think also, Superintendent Ayers, you mentioned, wherever he went, the IB International Baccalaureate. What we're looking at is we have those certificates from 4% to 14% of the pass rate in the IB program. That's pretty darn significant. And when you say Alonzo, which is one of Member Combs' school, already an 82% pass rate. So I just think the teachers are they're doing a wonderful job. They're working hard, but the students are learning a lot. It's almost like accomplishing an AA degree, getting an IB certificate. So, I mean, this is very stellar. I want to thank also the Crisis Center over and over, Clara Reynolds, the CEO. She gave us a big welcoming, all the candidates. But the most important point that she made, in my view, the mental health crisis is so real that she had mentioned that over 300 of our youth per day are considering suicide and call the 211 suicide direct line. That's 300 of our students or those students that are not in school, but nonetheless our children and our young adults are suffering greatly. Also, just to conclude, back on the African American Task Force, Sheikh Washington, you remember, and you are reminded too with me that we have 2 new courses, electives. We have the African American Experience elective, and we have also the African American history course. So I'm glad, Superintendent and Ms. Fawcett, that we're expanding African American curriculum, because that's the main job of our task force, to make sure the curriculum matches the needs and the culture of our African American students. It's very, very important. So, I mean, that's all of my comments, because some of us who are on the campaign trail have been campaigning like crazy, so I hadn't gotten to a lot of the places. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Hahn?
Thank you, Chair Perez. I'm really excited. We've had a busy summer. I want to talk a little bit about the Early Childhood Literacy Bus. We have just a few photos. This bus has been a long time in the making. It's what I would consider my legacy project. It started probably the second year I was on the board. Tracy Brown and I were having conversations around how to really move the needle, raise the profile of the work we're doing, and meet our community members where they are out in the community. And partner, how can we leverage all of our resources around early childhood and literacy? And those conversations started, they kind of stalled during COVID, and they transitioned to a new superintendent. And then Superintendent Davis supported us moving forward, and Superintendent Ayers got it across the finish line. So this is something that will hopefully live on long after I'm around, and continue to do the early childhood and literacy work that I've been advocating for since I've been on the board. So this is the inside of the bus. The bus is wrapped. We took an older bus and did this. And it travels around our community. Ms. Brown and I met with all the different community partners in the Glazer Children's Museum, the Children's Board, the ELC, the Tampa Museum of Art, United Way, HEF. We went and met with all of the leaders of those organizations, and they were all very excited about the opportunity to partner around this bus. And it's been busy this summer, combating the summer slide. They were at HCC Development Center. They've been at the Tampa Museum of Art's Juneteenth event just a few weeks ago. And they've joined the Mayan Street teams to support the work they're doing in our schools. And, the bus is not really just about creating a joy of reading, which is so important, but it's also about educating families on the resources that are available and providing early intervention services out in the community, whether it's through early intervention screenings, working with fiddlers on providing intervention. It has a great outdoor area, pop-up awning on the side, and little tables and chairs. So even teachers, when it goes to visit a school, can bring their classes out there for story time or some interactive literacy activities. So we have just a short video of the bus at the Juneteenth event. ABC Action News came out I want to thank Tracy Brown and Tara Talon Stone, who's the coordinator for the bus. They're doing a great job really getting it out to the community and making an impact. And it's just one of the most special things I've been able to do as a school board member. So you can
cultural celebration. It kicks off in about 30 minutes, but right now our ABC Action News reporter JJ Burton is there. So JJ, you have made it inside this educational bus you teased that earlier.
Yes, and this is actually an exclusive. We're the first station, the first news organization to even see inside of this bus that they turned into a classroom, and they're unveiling it today, right in time for Juneteenth celebration. This is your first event. Tara Talon Stone, you made all this happen.
Yes, we're thrilled that Hillsborough County Public Schools is able to partner with the Tampa Museum of Art to celebrate Juneteenth. We have a beautiful mobile classroom that's here to celebrate early learning and literacy in our community. We're doing book giveaways that are featuring African American culture and a positive message for the kids.
Like these books right over here. If we can turn real quick, John, you can see these books.
Board books to second grade, books that just celebrate African American.
And there's tons of events happening at this event at the Art Museum, but in here, kids will be able to actually learn things. So
we have all kinds of hands-on literacy materials, so kids are learning the early skills that they need to be ready for kindergarten, but in a fun and playful way. They don't even realize that it's work that they're doing.
Now, for kids watching this who's going to come here today, what type of events will they be doing on this bus for Juneteenth and just have fun and learning?
We're going to do story times every 30 minutes featuring different readers and different stories, and then we have all kinds of things from Find the Letters to letter tubs and table toys. We have some mobile laptops that they'll be able to get on with our Wi-Fi to use the internet, so all kinds of fun things for kids.
Good stuff happening out here today. Again, the event at the Art Museum starts at 10 o'clock and go all the way until 5. And again, kids can come here to the school bus that's turned into a classroom and tons of other things like a scavenger hunt happening as well. All in celebration of Juneteenth. Reporting live in Tampa, I'm JJ Burton, ABC Action News.
Thank you.
Thank you, Member Hahn. Member Washington?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to give kudos also to Addison Edgecombe for doing a great job with the art of the students. And also thank you, Colleen, for your hard work for Black history. I appreciate that very much, and thank you so much. I got some good news. I have a granddaughter, and a brand new granddaughter, Denon. Dinner, and I'm so excited because she is so cute. Yeah. I gave some pictures. I gave the secretary some pictures. So I'm so excited. So I really didn't do a lot because I've been with dinner, you know. She has all my attention during this period of time. Also, I would like to say Brandon 4th of July parade was pretty good. We had a great time. It was hot, but we enjoyed. I want to thank Chair Perez, Memorandum, Superintendent Van Ayers, and Chief of Schools, Dr. Graves. We had a great time in Brandon in the parade. So that's all I have today. Thank you so much, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Member Washington. And first, Member Hahn, I want to thank you for this bus. I remember growing up in the hot streets of New York City, and we had a bus like this. But the bus would come through. New York is well known for its museums and for its cultural aspect, and for its libraries. But it would bring these books through the neighborhoods for the kids. And we would just, with anticipation, wait for this library bus to come through. Yeah, and and go in, go in through through the front door of the bus, and go through and and come out the other side with the biggest smiles. So this is a game changer for our babies, especially those that can't get to the libraries. My mom doesn't want to come to Tampa because she says it's the country, because the buses are not available. Buses and transportations is really hard here in Tampa, and so bringing the library and the school to the kids and getting their reading is a game changer. So thank you for the work that you've done here in Tampa with your books, and and being able to be that change for our children. I thank you for that. And the HR website, the new one, is up and running. Can you give us a little bit of information about that, Superintendent?
Well, I'm going to turn it over to Charm. She knows a lot more than me. She's been from the implementation. This is something the board has wanted for a long time. We've heard about it. So Dr. Patton got it to the finish line. So, Dr. Patton?
We are so excited. It's our new TAMS, which is our application system that's up and running. And, you know, it's the ease of use is amazing. It's also multilingual, which is very important. So any language that you want to choose from A to Z, you can go in there and use it. And it allows for individuals to do it mobile, which is really important because as we talk about being mobile and giving access, it gives access where individuals can go in and use the system on their phones. And so we're excited about it. And we encourage anyone that continues to have questions, if there's questions that they can utilize our system to call and say, hey, I've got a question I'd like to ask, what's going on. We still have Application Tuesdays available, though, in case individuals want to come to our ISC building and have that. But I'm really excited about it. I encourage everyone to go and take a look at it. For internal employees, we are providing also training every day at noon. So if you want to come and be trained on how to use it, if you don't understand it or you have questions, you have access to it at that time as well. So we're really excited, and we thank you all for the support that you've given us as we go through this. And we also welcome feedback because there might be opportunities that we can do to make things better. So please feel free to let us know. Thank you for that.
Thank you. I know I've had a few folks who are applying, and they call me up if they have, but, you know, your department is fantastic. I just get them on the phone and transfer them over, and it's been amazing. So apply. We're trying to find staff, and, you know, I see Farkas is shaking his head, and one more question. I know that we've requested a salary study in the past. I know myself, board member Hahn, I believe, in the past, and with her question today, how close are we to doing a salary study for this district?
Dr. Patton, any information on the salary study of where we are currently?
Well, you know, we've just recently concluded our negotiations, and so our plan was post-negotiations to sit down and start looking at that so we can take our due diligence, take our time, and make sure there's components around it, plus get feedback from the board members as to what you're looking for, because a salary study can be different things to different people. We want to make sure that it's covering exactly what the board is looking for and gathering the information that you need. So there'll be more to come on that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And with that, I'm looking forward to, in a couple of weeks, having these babies back and these students back in our classrooms and the teachers. And, you know, with that, this meeting is adjourned.